If you're wondering what players are buying from Dominaria United, then today's video is definitely one you're not going to want to miss. The players have spoken. Singles is the way to go. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. That's right, the guy who never graduated Magic University. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me on the channel today. Dominaria United, it dropped. It's out there. The pre-releases are happening. By the time you're watching this video, I'm getting ready to go to my pre-release with my son. We're going to have a good time. Hopefully we do very well. But when you look at the cards I show you today, this is going to give you a good indication what people are going to be playing for Commander, Pioneer, Modern. Guys, this stuff is happening out there. You got to pay attention. These sales let players know which cards are actually being bought. It doesn't have to be an expensive card. But if you see thousands of sales, chances are you're facing that deck at some point soon, and you can now think about ways of countering it, working with it, or maybe you missed a card and these are one of the cards you should be buying. It's a great time to be alive in Magic when a new set drops. It gives us so much energy and things to work with and new craziness, even for the boring repetition of Arena. New cards coming in is a welcome sight because it gives you more of a switch up. Even though that system is totally rigged against you, it's still a little bit of fun to see what you can build, what you can construct, and then buy the cards afterwards. So let's take a journey here, guys. Let's find out what number 10 is. Let's take the journey down to number 1. These are the hottest selling cards in this week, and it is like, wow, it's crazy. Okay, guys, we're starting off with King Darian the 14th. Number 10 this week with 1,204 sales. This card's like less than $3, cheap to get, very affordable. And let's, when you take a closer look at him, you can see why people are buying it. Number 1, it's a green-white. It's going to fit into a lot of decks. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. So this guy's not soldier specific, but look at his second power there. 1 white, 1 green, 3 other, and put a +1/+1 counter on King Darian and create a 1/1 soldier token. Okay, it's a white soldier, by the way. But it's the idea that all your creatures get pluses. He's a 2/3 himself, and you can throw him in a deck that's a multicolor commander deck. You can throw him into standard. He's going to see a lot of play. There's not much you can do about it. He's going to be there. The sales are showing you the facts. This is what's happening. Players are buying this card, and this is the lowest sales. It only goes up from here. King Darian, way to go, buddy. Like, you're amazing. Here we go. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at number 9 this week, and that is going to be the Relic of Legends. 1,492 sales this week. This is a 3 casting cost generic artifact. Add 1 color of any mana to your mana pool, but what makes this card unique is tap an untapped legendary creature you control to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I think people are kind of forgetting how many legendary creatures are out there nowadays. A card like this built into the right type of deck, especially in standard where we could have a litany of amazing legendary cards and not as much board removal as we used to get. This can be a devastating card for people to deal with. Building commander decks with this kind of card in it. This thing's going to see play as well. It's a very inexpensive card. The sales figures are telling me everything I need to know about what people are thinking in Dominaria United. It's a really strong set. As much as people may think it's like super powered, you're comparing it against, double flip trip masters. This set is going to rock everything for quite a while. Now, number 8 is Haunty Djinn. Now, I didn't really think much about this card, but 1,593 sales this week really got me looking at the card. So let's take a closer look and see what he offers us. He does offer flying. He comes in at least as a 0/4, I guess, and he's 2 blue, 1 other, so he's going to be mainly in a blue deck. Now it says the Haunty Djinn's power is equal to the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. 1 generic, but still, we talked about it with Solomon's Legacy, a reserve list card. Wizards does keep adding in Djinns. Afrits. These kind of cards kind of are appearing off and on, which means some of these older reserve list cards interconnect with these cards they're giving us. This card is going to see standard play. There are lots of instants and things that can go along with this guy, making him a heavy hitting card, and he's got enough toughness to survive minor hits. So he's a good card to have around. I can see why people are actually buying it and planning to construct with this card. Now our next card is Tear Asunder at number 7. 1,580 sales this week. And when we take a look at Tear Asunder, when you look at the card, you say, okay, what are people looking at? We have one green and one generic. It's an instant, which is always nice. It has a kicker of one black mana and one other. Exile target artifact or enchantment. If this spell was kicked, exile target non-land permanent instead. So guys, yeah, you're blowing up an artifact and enchantment on the fly if you got to, but later in the game in a multicolored deck, you can just start exiling permanents. This is a great card to have around. Again, I can see why people are going for cards like this. They're really inexpensive at this point, 50, 60 cents a card, $1 here in Canada. Players are getting their play sets set together, getting ready to play in Pioneer, getting ready to play in Modern. They are trying things out. They're playing in Standard. They're going to be trying to see what they can build and how useful some of these cards are. And at these prices right now, everyone's trying to figure out what's what. Now, the number 6 card, this one we actually did talk about, and that is Threats Undetected. Search your library for up to 4 creature cards with different powers and reveal them. An opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Shuffle the chosen cards into your library and put the rest into your hand. This is a 3 casting cost sorcery. Depending on the creatures you're going for, this guy is going to be amazing, okay? It's going to be an amazing card to have around. And you look at the sales, 1,820 sales, and this is only the number 6 card. Yeah, people are happy with what they're seeing. They're deciding to go out there, spend some shekels, and get these cards. And at $2-3 a card, again, really inexpensive. Get it now. People aren't sure if cards are going to spike yet, and they're saying these prices are feeling right. Okay, the sales are telling me that everyone thinks the price is right at this point. We're like playing the game show, man. Now, Defiler of Faith comes in at number 5 with 2,021 sales this week. When we take a closer look at him, okay, him, it, her, whatever, it is a 2 white, 3 generic, 5/5 with vigilance. Okay, so it's already pretty cool compared to the old school cards of the day, like a Sarah. Now, it has vigilance, but as an additional cost to cast a white permanent spells. Wait, I think I'm saying that wrong. This is a Saturday morning, right? Okay. As an additional cost to cast white permanent spells, you may pay 2 life. Those spells cost 1 white less to cast. If you paid life this way, the effect reduces only the amount of white mana you pay. Whenever you cast a white permanent spell, create a 1/1. Okay, so we got a creature that's going to make other creatures for us. It's a 5/5, doesn't fly, has vigilance, and we can reduce the casting cost of spells by paying some life. The Phyrexian kind of changeover, right? Love the idea of the card, and you know what? It's going to see play. It's the way they're going to mix it with the cards we already have in existence. This is going to, some of these cards are just going to rock things and shake things up for sure, guys. Defiler of Faith, way to go, and so cheap. So inexpensive. Okay, the Defiler of Dreams, number 4, with 2,194 sales this week. We're talking $3 a card. It tanked since it's been introduced. Like, it was higher at first. People aren't paying that price, but just like the Defiler of Faith, we got a card that cost 5. It's a 4/3, 2 blue, 3 generic. But as an additional cost, to cast blue permanent spells, you may pay 2 life, and those spells cost 1 blue less to cast. Okay. The effects that reduce only amount on blue mana. Okay, but look at that. Whenever you cast a blue permanent spell, you draw a card. I cannot tell you how exciting it is to think of what we will be able to do when you have a few low-level legendary creatures. You get this out on turn 3, turn 4. You start casting out really fast casting cost instants and sorceries. You start drawing cards. The cycling ability of some of these cards is going to be disgusting to watch come out into the field of battle and see how players deal with the litany, the amount of pressure they'll be feeling on some of these cards. Now, the number 3 card this week is Leaf Crowned Visionary. 2,830 sales. Wow. All right. Now, when we take a closer look at this card, it's an auto-include in so many decks, okay? Commander's going to love it for all the abilities it's going to give to your elf decks, okay? Other elves you control get +1/+1. It's 2 to cast for a 1/1. Whenever you cast an elf spell, you may pay 1 green. If you do, you draw a card. Tell me that's not going into every single elf tribal deck out there. I said Ife. That's so funny. I can't speak. Elf tribal deck out there. And in Dominaria United, they've given us enough elves to play with. And since things aren't going to rotate out right away, we still have the Planeswalker guy from Kaldheim. We've still got a few elves lingering around from Kaldheim. So we're going to have some fun with this. I think we have a few of the gods and stuff there. This is going to be fun to see for a little while before it rotates out as well. There'll be a few shenanigans going on. People are going to have some fun with. Now, The number 2 card this week, we are talking the Defiler of Vigor. Okay, another Defiler. 2,945 sales. Cards an average of around $4 or $5, guys. Again, totally dropped in price. People are trying to find the floor on this card, but at this price, a lot of people are biting. 6/6 for 5, 2 green, 3 generic. Trample. As an additional cost to play green permanent spells, you may pay 2 life, right? And if you do, of course, it reduces it by 1 green. I love this, okay, because whenever you cast a green permanent spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Each creature you control gets a +1/+1. Oh, the fun we are going to have with cards like this. I can see why this card's selling too. It's almost at 3,000 sales, guys. It's insane. But we're not done yet. Let's get to the number 1 card. Not that Defiler of Vigor was, a bad card or anything. Let's get to the number 1 selling card this week. The number 1 selling card is Elias the Sadistic Pilgrim. I've already talked to you guys about this card. This was a card to watch last week or the week before. 3,124 sales. When you look at this card and you realize it's going to be great for people playing cleric decks, okay? It has Death Touch. It's a 2/2 for 2, 1 white, 1 other. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Whenever a creature enters the control, each opponent loses 1 life. It's going into every commander deck that plays with this type of mana base. And it's going to be a great card to have around for people who like to have a good time with their core, with like cleric decks, with all kinds of legendary deck. I mean, guys, this thing's going to be everywhere. I knew it. I knew this card was going to be around, and we're talking $1 a card, okay? $1 a card, $5 a card, $6. This is that phase now that Dominaria United's out. I called this last week, and I said the sales we're seeing are going to totally disappear and get dominated by the pre-release sales of what's going on for Dominaria United, dominated by Dominaria. These things may calm down next week, but at the same time, when I do the count up next week, I bet you're going to see even stronger sales because people are going to see what other people are doing. They're going to build with these things, add those same interactions, build counter decks against those type of decks. It is going to be a great time. I love this time in Magic where this craziness goes on and we see what people really think about and brew and construct in their deck series. I hope you guys paid attention, watched the end of the video and caught all these cards. These are the cards people are buying. This is your hot 10. It was awesome to see these cards selling because I didn't expect to see some of these cards. So you're like, oh yeah, I get it. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with the Mox Man. Have an awesome Saturday. If you're going to a pre-release, have a good time. You're going to play with some friends. Enjoy it, guys. Magic is a fantastic game. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Hot 10 Reserve List Edition. Hey guys, and this is that time in the video, that special time, that moment of silence and, reverence for the amazing patrons on this channel, the supporters, What are you guys doing here? You know it's the end of the video, right? You know that. What? Oh, we're going to a pre-release, man. Have a great time, guys. You know I wouldn't leave you hanging like that, right? Don't worry. I'm still here. You guys can put Deadpool in the comments section. And yes, I'm totally going to the pre-release, but I wouldn't be rude like that and just shut the door on you guys. That's not my style. I apologize for that. That was horrible of me. Anyway, I meant it in good jest. Have an awesome day, everyone.